All right, folks. Chapter 16, we begin. Chapter 16 in one word is tfuna, tfunas. Intellectual love. Seems a contradiction. Intellect, love, intellectual love. Okay, let's see where we're going with that. The Alter Rebbe says an important principle regarding the divine service of the Beinoni. Remember, the Beinoni is someone who has mastery over thought, speech, and action. Not over their urges of the heart, but of the thought, speech, and action of their behavior, the garments of self-expression, which is, again, thought, speech, and action. Meaning, they are able to rule over their heart. That's the essential nature. And how do they rule over? How are we learning till now? The key over here is because there is a meditation, a focus about the greatness of God, our relationship with God, God's relationship to the world. There is that focus of being mindful. And because of that, it enables us to give us a spirit of understanding and knowledge in the heart that allows us to have a fear of God. Fear of God means not fear of punishment, fear of, well, we'll learn more about that later. Also, presence. When you're in the presence of somebody, you act differently. When you're in the presence of great individual, you act very differently. The presence of God is even more so, is the concept of fear. And fear specifically, as we will understand shortly, when it comes to changing behavior. And also, so that will lead us to turn away from evil, to not do wrong. And also that contemplation of the greatness of God will also bring us to a love of God. That is what we've learned till now. That is the basic understanding of the Beinoni, the capability of using the mind to have dominion over the heart, to be able not allow the urges of the heart to rule, but your awareness of God in your life, awareness of God in the world, to bring you then to stay away from wrong things and to do the right thing. That's what we've learned. The Alter Rebbe now adds something, and that is, what if a person's intellectual understanding about the greatness of God doesn't bring you to an emotional appeal, an emotional feeling of awesomeness of God, which is fear, and the burning passion towards God? So this is the novelty, the chiddush over here. The Alter Rebbe says that it may not be there literally full-blown feeling in the heart, even though what we've learned till now, that's the idea, is that the mind comes and brings what it's aware of into the heart, that it has a feeling towards God. But not everybody is going to be able to do that. And therefore, the Alter Rebbe says that if this brings a person to an awareness in the mind that brings a intellectual love in the heart based on that awareness of the mind, that what? What is the awareness? That it is fitting that one should pine and for God, wanting to cleave to God, that you should have a fervent desire for God. In other words, that you should have it, but you don't have it. Right? You don't have that full feeling in the heart, but that you have an awareness in the heart. What the mind is telling it is aware in the heart. It has an intellectual love, so to speak, right? And that will then lead a person to fulfill that which God wants from them, of Torah and mitzvahs, staying away from what we should stay away from. All right, 365 prohibitions, rabbinic law, and so on. And then the 248 positive commandments, that's what it'll lead a person to. So, and it's fitting that you should embrace God. What does it mean it's fitting? Meaning you understand that, but you're not feeling that. The Alter Rebbe says that this is then in an intellectual emotion, you can't call it complete love and awe of God, but it's an understanding that the heart has, an awareness that the heart has. And because of that, since it does bring you to act for God, to do and behave the way God wants us to behave, then the Alter Rebbe says this is like bringing the wings to the Torah mitzvahs we do, and it is like having real love and awe for God that is revealed in the heart. Because what did it do in the end? It brought you there. It brought you to act with your three garments of self-expression, thought, speech, and action, towards God. And that is Shvunas Ava, an understanding love, intellectual love, if you want to call it that. And it's able to then be considered, the Alter Rebbe, this is a novel idea over here, be considered a something real. So, this is very empowering because I must admit that for me to have full feelings in my heart of pining and wanting to cleave to God, fervent desire, like that your soul is ready to expire. Maybe I can't say that that's something that is constant in my life, but the contemplation does bring an understanding heart. It brings that intellectual awareness into the heart, that now the awareness in the heart, even though it doesn't have a full love and awe of God, nonetheless, because of that contemplation, that it did bring us to now fulfill that which God needs from us. That's powerful. That's amazing. That's what the Alter Rebbe says, and it's a novel idea. That he's saying that the fact that we are aware that it should be this way, and we're not really pining, we're not really having this great feelings in our heart, nonetheless, because it brought me to do another mitzvah, because it brought me to fulfill that what God needs from me, that's real. That is, even though it's not a heartfelt emotion, but it's real because it brought you to the practice of what you need to do, which is, again, the thought, speech, and action, a fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs as God needs us to fulfill what He needs us to fulfill in this world. That's it. Well, that's it. That's a lot. Robert, shalom to you in Boston. Cherry, thank you. Oh, thank you, Sarah Malka, from North Carolina. Folks, just a reminder for those who didn't get the opportunity yet, but I've started. Today will be a third day of giving in Instagram, LinkedIn, and also my page. These are all Tanya Rabbi on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and my page of Rabbi Ronnie Fine, which is also Tanya Rabbi, on Facebook. A 1-minute synopsis of the day's teachings. 1 minute. It's a challenge, but we do it. We try. So you can find me there, and that will another way to connect, another way to learn. Jeffrey from Toronto, good morning, and Alice from Baltimore. Welcome. John from North Carolina is with us, and Dror from Montreal. Tim from Texas, well, good morning. Yoing, I don't know if I got that right. Thank you for joining. Chaim from New York and from Mexico. Nathan, Ahmad, thank you for joining. Stanley, shalom. And we have Hadassah with us from Guatemala. Wow. And I use Uzbekistan. Beautiful. They're from everywhere today. From Amsterdam, Chayesara, Yehuda. More on this notion that we were learning, because it's an important point, as we will see how important it is as we move forward. Folks, please share the Alter Rebbe's teachings. And also look me up in the other places. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you Chabad, Zichra and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day.